Hopefully it works this time. Okay. No,
We're
it
live.
looks like it worked. It looks like we're live. We already have some comments in here. How secretive. So Michael Studio Films. Michael, I don't know if your name's Michael. Actually, I see this guy commenting, Lee, on your channel a lot.
He comments on pretty much every video, so I think he knows my thoughts before I think them, and likewise for him. Just I think he watches each one of my videos about four times. So
Yeah, and I don't know if his name is Michael. Let's call him Michael just for kicks. So yeah, I missed Ted Guy's live stream yesterday. I don't even know what I was doing, but I do want to jump on his thing. And by the way, just to give a quick shout out there, Ted Guy is on Tuesdays. I forget what time. He's a little bit later, but Ted Guy has like a live stream, just like we do. Speaking of live stream, like we're thinking about name. We want some names. So if you guys have any suggestions, guys, gals, have any suggestions for live, or sorry, for names for this live stream, my name is Les, and that's Lee over there. You guys know that.
yeah,
I don't know what to call it. Like it's an L and L, so it could be like L and L, or I don't know.
live with Lee and Les.
That's not bad.
It's got a ring to it. I was just thinking about that. I'm sure that hopefully we'll get some comments on this. Some of our people that know us better than we know ourselves might be able to weigh in on this. So
Right, and also what else? Oh yeah, and oh, how secretive? Yeah, I was going into this comment. So yeah, it's not really secretive. Okay, the real secret stuff. I don't know. I mean, we will never reveal it. I mean, really deep secret stuff. It might not be for public ears.
the secret isn't a secret. The secret is revealing the secrets is really what it's all about. So basically you're here to see the secrets, and we're here to reveal all. So how secretive? Yes, in the way that we're going to reveal secrets, if they're even secrets. I don't know. So some people may consider them secrets. I consider them thoughts that we turn into money.
Right. So first of all, like, how was your daily? What did you do? Sorry, I'm putting a sticky note here.
My day has been a big whirlwind of nothing. And by nothing, I mean there's not work coming in. I'm making work for myself. So it's always it's more so marketing. I've got these ideas, marketing, and I'm just making sure that all my businesses are keeping their messages out there. So that's how it's going with me. I all the updates so that people know that we're still booking weddings for all this stuff. You good there?
Yeah, I'm going crazy. I can't.
You look good. You look good.
But oddly enough, I can't stand to see the viewer counter. The viewer counter, like I'm obsessed with it. I'm literally just staring at the viewer counter all the time and like thinking like, oh, how many people are watching this feed? So for me, it's very important to cover the viewer counter. Otherwise, I get completely obsessed. So, Christian, what is level 5? Okay, no gatherings at all. Where are you from? Because we have some gatherings. We have like 15 people. What do you have in Saskatchewan?
Right now it's 15 for 15 for private parties and 30 for like inside commercial spaces.
Okay, I think it's around that. Oh, and
You're,
okay.
you're really like screwing the microphone up here. It's like blasting my ears.
Okay, what about now?
Perfect.
Okay, maybe like what I was trying to do with
like
that.
You're rubbing it there.
Yeah, maybe I was rubbing. I didn't know the mic was like on that part of the computer. Okay, Party Rental Knowledge is here as well. We actually did a live stream with him the other day. Justin is his name. And where? So Ireland. He's saying Christian is saying that like there's no gatherings at all in Ireland. So that sucks. That really sucks.
There's yeah, you're really gonna have to like. I'm not sure what industry you're in, Christian, but I hope you're trying to figure something out. You know, like What are people doing inside their houses where you can think about what they're doing and try and make a go of something.
Yeah, the other thing you can do is just market for next season. Like as the temperature warms up, cases will go down in the spring and then in the summer for sure. Like it just like this spring, this kind of early spring to summer, and that's going to be the trend for next year as well. Like it just like as things warm up, people will spend time outside. Cases will go down. It's not like events are going to stop forever, so don't give up hope. I know it's easy to give up hope. I can see people are selling all their stuff online, but people will have events. Really, pandemic is the only thing that will stop events from happening. And really, it's the only it's the first time in the history of the world really that the governments are actually doing that. Like past pandemics, really, they didn't really stop people from having events. So that I find that interesting, and I think events will come back. Like it's not like they're gonna go forever. That's kind of silly to think that way.
I think the focus, obviously, 2021 weddings, but gatherings. It's like, can you cater to a gathering? Like a gathering. If six people are coming together, is there a possibility that someone needs to rent something, as small as it may seem? If it's your only draw, just work with it, right? If someone needs a chair and six tables, be that person to give them a chair and six tables. I know that I am, and every time Thanksgiving came and I sold so much stuff. I rented so much stuff because people wanted, for what was it, like 12 people at the time. There was just customer after customer after customer, just picking up a table and a few chairs, whatever, right? Made it work.
Yeah, I think also like it depends. Like Christian is right here. Like it's deposits. Like I'm all about deposits for next year. I'm pushing those tents. People are gonna want tents because they're like, okay, we need to have an outdoor venue because indoor venues are like a no go, or the likelihood of them being a no go is higher. So let's do an outdoor event. So push those tents, push those outdoor items because and like if you're pushing them now, weddings often are booking 4, 6, 8 months in advance. At least typically, I know now it's kind of weird, but typically they're booking in advance. So this is a good time to push for deposits. What we do with deposits is I say, hey, that deposit is not refundable. But if you give us 8 weeks notice, you can certainly move your event in the next year or later on in the summer. Say they want to do it in May, like that's a little early still. It's not super warm. Maybe restrictions will still be high, so they have that opportunity to like feel it out and say, okay, let's move this event. We'll still get the full credit, but technically it's not refundable in terms of like money back. But those deposits are big, especially now. Like Lee, you and I are getting into slightly bigger tents, and like those deposits are significant because those jobs are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 jobs.
Right. So you're booking stuff for 2021, right, Les? Like
Yeah,
you're
I got 2 quotes today. I know. Yesterday
okay.
I got 0 quotes, which is very depressing. Although we were busy delivering for diploma exams up here in Canada. I don't know if they're called that in the States, but they're called like just like kind of the final exams for high school students. So we're delivering those. And so I was kind of busy. But I did notice, hey, there's like literally no quotes coming in yesterday. Today there's 2 quotes for the summertime, like pretty decent, significant quotes. One was a 20 by 40, and one was a 40 by 80 from an event planner. Actually, I'm supposed to send her the quote still. So good that you reminded me of it here. Oh,
Uh,
speaking of tents, like you're thinking about getting bigger tents, right?
yeah, I am. I have to. It's the only way that I'm going to grow is just to go into the next size. I've I have to find money. I mean, I'm spending money on trailers. I'm spending money on warehouse spaces potentially, and I'm looking for a tent. So I'm getting one. Yeah,
Right.
somehow.
Speaking of like fireworks, it's weird because up here where we're up in Canada, you guys all know that now. At least I think it's in my name somewhere there. I don't know if it shows it, but uh, like there's not many fireworks stuff going on up in Canada like it is in the States. I think like inner city, it's kind of like only the biggest companies do it for like main celebrations, but there's not too many fireworks. I know in the States, because I was talking to a tent manufacturer in Texas that pretty much just makes tents for like fireworks tents. I forget the name. They had really good pricing, but it wasn't really like wedding quality.
You know, sorry, I'm just reading this here. I had one look at the interlocking hard plastic floor. So sorry, Les. I kind of faded out there. I lost my thought. What I was going to say when I started reading that thought. If you want to.
Well, right. And actually, I was probably like reading something as well. But okay, Dan Coover. You mean? Oh, Dan Dan Cover. Okay, I thought he misspelled Vancouver. But speaking of tents, like, yeah, like you're getting more tents. You're going 30 wide, and I think I'm going 40 wide. Up until now, I only have 20 wide, but technically we put two together to make 40 wides. So now I'm looking for pole tents, and I actually found a company called Tent Tech, which I really like. They seem to be my favorite company so far. Again, that's
was it Tent Tech or Top Tech?
Top Tech. I think you're right. Top Tech.
I was on their website last night.
Okay, yeah. I like the valence. Okay, so for those who don't know, the valence is like the edge of the tent, and the Top Tech tents, at least the one style I was interested in, like the classic kind of pole style, has like a swooping valence that goes from like it makes a really nice edge, unlike Top Tech. Party rental knowledge knows.
So Les, just for anyone who doesn't know, Les is basically right now into like high peak marquees. Is that what they're called in the States? High peak marquees or pagoda tents are they called, or not quite pagodas or?
Yeah, high peak. I think they're called high peak. But they're frame tents essentially.
And what I'm into right now is basically like canopy tents, 20 wide canopy tents. So 20 by 20, 20 by 30, 20 by 40. And then I'm going up to 30 wides.
Yeah. And Tony, hey Tony, Lifestyle Hustles. Check out Tony, by the way, if you haven't seen his videos. They're entertaining. Tony, where are you again? I forget what state you're in. But yeah, he's definitely in a warmer place out here. Again, it was snowing for the last few days. It's not snowing where Tony's at. And Tony, don't you have an Instagram? I was trying to find your Instagram the other day. I was gonna DM you, but
you know, can I change the subject just for 1 minute? Since no. Okay, I'm going to change the subject just for 1 minute because you said that you had a gig for a school thing, right? So I'd almost consider that it's not corporate, but it's not private. So I'd consider it like in the corporate sector, right? And so I'm wanting to grow my rental business over to the corporate sector because I've always been smaller. And I've noticed like my business has just completely dropped off. Like no one even cares about it right now. So I'm just working on the marketing and my website. But you're still managing to stay busy because you're kind of like you're 3 times my size, and you offer those corporate clients, right? So we can probably then notice the difference between each other, and let our customers know what you can expect on different levels, maybe.
Right, and I think the corporate clients really just Google an event, like they Google events in the town that they're at, and they really choose the top 2 or 3 people to get a quote from. Like I don't think they really. That's why it's nice to have a good ranking if you want those corporate clients, or maybe try using AdWords. Maybe that can get you some success, because I think with corporate clients, like they really just Google you and choose kind of the biggest names. So like eventually when you get big enough, the proportion of corporate clients to residential clients goes up naturally because they're like they can spot you easier and they request more quotes from you. It's hard to reach out to them because there's so many like departments in some of these big companies that you really can't reach the right person. And if even if you do reach the right person, like they might not be having that event on their mind. So like you can always do call outs, but I think and yeah, like party rental knowledge says as well, like there aren't many. Like I did have one, like you mentioned, and it's not even the corporate client. The one I had was more of a government client. So those are always interesting. We've always managed to get lucky with elections, with school exams, and with reservations. So you could try reaching out to those three and see if you have any success. But those three have events even during the pandemic. So I mean, there's always going to be like or not, I suppose not all the time, but there's elections no matter what. There's school stuff no matter what, and reservations are having all sorts of things pretty much no matter what. And the same goes with the health department. We haven't had any luck with the health department. I know Adam has. So the government bodies, like I guess it's more government than corporate. Come to think of it.
Yeah, and like all that I've had was brides. I mean, it's way different. So if anyone's a bartender in here, my bartending service is pretty much strictly corporate. Like my corporate gigs, my corporate game is zang on the bartending front. But I haven't had a gig all year, so it doesn't matter. But last year and like the previous 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, like party rental knowledge says, I don't think there are too many corporate things going on, and he's right. There's really no corporate things going on. So James asks, how do you decide it's time to get bigger tents? If people ask for them, if people are asking for bigger tents and you don't have them, or you have to like combine tents, it could be time to get bigger tents. I also think this year wasn't bad because people wanted to maintain their tent spacing. So bigger tents was something that people would like. They didn't want to be crammed underneath the tent. Like normally we could probably cram 50 people under a 20 by 20. That's 400 square feet. But like this year, no, that'd be a no-no. So people would go for the 20 by 40 instead of the 20 by 20 frame tent, and same amount of people. So like it's not a bad time to consider bigger tents.
Well, and through this past summer, I only had 20 by 20, a 20 by 20 or a few 20 by 20s and a 20 by 30. And people were wanting 20 by 40 tents. So I literally just halfway through the summer bought a 20 by 40 and started adding it into my rental inventory. Of course, by then it was too late, and I couldn't get it out every weekend. I only got it out a handful of times. But that 20 by 30, just every single weekend was out. And next year, that's the plan, is to have all of them out every single weekend, and then the bigger size as well. So.
Yeah, and James, like, why don't you just put it on your website and see what happens? Like, if you put it on your website, you get 3 bookings out of a bigger tent. Like, if that's going to be well worth your time to potentially buy that. So just put it on your website, throw it on, and see what happens, and maybe you'll get some jobs out of it before you even have it, and then you can order it kind of later on, like in the late winter in January or February. But you already have jobs lined up, so you can kind of feel safer about it.
You know what, Les? Let's talk about something that we both really have in common, which is pop-up tents, because I basically copied you the whole way through since you started your channel. And how was your pop-up tents this summer for weddings and so forth?
Yeah, like not as popular as last year because last year pre-C word, like there were a lot of markets and a lot of pop-up tents went to these little companies that were doing little markets here and there. And like June 1st is a market called Lilac Festival, and we really pushed that market. That festival is so popular, and there's hundreds and hundreds of vendors. That day alone, I think we did like $2,500 for pop-up tents, and just for pop-up tents. And like this year, I mean, that festival didn't happen, so I think maybe we rented like one pop-up tent that year. So like even though they went out a little bit, not nearly as much as last summer, unfortunately. In fact, the bigger tents did much better than the pop-up tents.
Oh, okay. So what about, like, so you're talking like your 10 by 10s, right?
Yeah,
Like
10 by 10.
Because I didn't get very many 10 by 10s out, but my 10 by 20s, they were flying every single weekend. And like they were flying. I bought so many more of them. Like I really leveled up because everyone wanted pop-up tent weddings. And so I saw that as a trend in my area anyways, but not with 10 by 10s, 10 by 20s. So
Yeah, and actually, oddly enough, you're right. Like, to be extremely specific, the 10 by 20 tent was popular for me as well. I don't think it went down in popularity at all. It kind of maintained its popularity to the point where, like, occasionally, almost every weekend, but only like one or two were going out. So yeah, the 10 by 20 specifically, and oddly enough, was popular compared to the 10 by 10. Sometimes if people were picking up, I would just tell them get two 10 by 10s and stick them side by side because I didn't want my 10 by 20 to get kind of wrecked. Or because sometimes if the 10 by 20 is a little harder to pull apart and people are like yanking on it. So I'm like, listen, take two 10 by 10s. It's actually cheaper. And you'll have a way easier time setting it up. You can even probably do it by yourself instead of a 10 by 20. And that actually happened too if I was sold out of the 10 by 20s. Or if I expect it to be sold out, I would offer some people, hey, just get two 10 by 10s. It works just fine. And a lot of people actually went for that.
Did you notice people were going crazy for walls? Like I noticed that like people, I've got the window walls that look like wedding style. People were going like absolutely bananas for them. Like I couldn't keep them on the shelf.
What are you charging per wall?
$15, or maybe it's $12 actually. $12 per 10-foot wall.
Okay, I'm charging 12 as well. I thought, yeah, and then people were like, oh, that's so high because there's like 6 walls on a 10 by 20. Like, how do you respond to that when they ask you? Because I get that question quite a bit. Like, oh, that's so much more. It's so high. Like,
I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Like people weren't complaining. They were just getting them. And there was lots of people that were actually getting the 10 by 20s, like wanting them. And then we were out of walls. And if we were out of walls, they didn't even want it anymore. Like it was like purely a small wedding thing.
yeah. Actually, Chris, you were talking about what Christian's talking about tape on stuff. And the other day and I actually have a video about tape on some chairs, and everybody makes fun of me because like it's just a little bit of tape. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is tape is annoying, whether it's a little bit, a lot, like sometimes it's a lot. And you're only getting you're only making like say it's a small rental and they cover like there are 2 tables with all this tape. It's extremely annoying to take all that tape off and kind of deal with that. So
it's like one of the videos that you made in the past. I can't remember, where you like have this note. I think I made a copy video of something along the lines of that. It's just throw some scare tactics in there. If you throw scare tactics in there, it automatically stops, right? Me being a smaller rental company, like I do all of the delivery, or well, I do all the deliveries mostly myself. And when people are coming to pick up, it's just like, hey, remember to take that tape off. And they usually do listen to me, but I have also put in sheets where it's like, hey, you will be charged if you do this. And they see that and they're like, oh, well, I don't want to be charged, even though you never do charge them.
yeah, unless it's really bad, then I have charged them if it's like really bad or if it's like really dirty. I'm like, listen, you have food residue all over these things. You already got to like just it's going to cost. I'm going to charge you an extra $50. I mean, I feel those clients out because some clients are just going to freak out, but some are like totally understanding. Some clients even suggest it. They're like, listen, these things are dirty. Please charge me more. Those are absolutely the best clients. The clients that literally tell you to charge more are definitely the best clients to have. And yeah, so tape is extremely annoying on tents. I kind of do what Lee does as well, is I leave a little pamphlet in each item or tucked into the item or stapled to the invoice saying what to do and what not to do, like the key things. So for tents, take down if it's extremely windy. For tables, like remove tape. Like if you're gonna stick tape, remove the tape. It's just a courtesy thing. So yeah, that's what I kind of do. Also in the off season, okay, John's asking what we charge. So we have Canadian pricing, so you guys you'll have to convert it on Google or whatever to US pricing if you're in the US. But like it depends. Like for an 8-foot plastic table, $10. $10 is all I charge. $7.95 for a 6-foot table. What do you charge? And Go on. Sorry.
I charged 8 all summer. And then my competition, or not my, well, I guess they're my competition. They charged like 13 or something like that. Their tables are all like nice, expensive tables, and mine are all plastic folding tables. But no one else offers the plastic folding tables, and that's all people want, that they come to me. And so I bumped it up to 10, and I haven't had any complaints or anything like that. So I also charge 10, which is way under my competition. They don't care about the quality, they just care about getting a table for cheaper.
Yeah, and chairs. In terms of chairs, I think $1.49 for the really basic folding chairs, $4.25 for the white resin chairs, $2.29 for white fan back chairs, and then we also have cherry wood, mahogany style padded folding stacking chairs, and those we're charging $6.25, I think it is. So, yeah, decent amount.
I've got to lower my prices. My chairs are more expensive than yours. That makes no sense.
No, but I think in your city, people are charging slightly more than they are for in my city. I noticed.
In my city, people are like robbing people. It's like it's weird. Like the prices are so high in my city. I don't know why.
Lee, right? Hi from Orange, Australia. That's a nice name.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Bet,
Okay, so what do you think about branding? Like what I'm doing now in the off season is I'm trying to improve my branding. Um, so like today I was looking for quotes for signs, for example, like signs of, because I have a sign on the door right over here, but I actually don't have a sign on the building itself. So I was looking for quotes for signs, and through that I'm also looking for like all sorts of branding. So car decals, how to kind of tie it together, color schemes. Any thoughts on that? Like, are you working on your branding?
I have a serious identity crisis. I have so many businesses, and I've been working in so many different angles and trying to find my rhythm. Um, that branding had somewhere got lost in between all my ideas. So I will work on branding more, but I haven't been working on it the way that I want to. My photo booths a little more solid, like my rental photo booths. It's a little more consistent, using Chelsea to make the videos and so forth. But other than that, I'm a big mess. But
Yeah, I thought that about you too. Like when I look at your websites, they're all a little bit all over the place. I know I keep bugging you about that. I'm like, Lee, you got to focus your websites or like do some colors.
yeah,
Although I think on YouTube you have a solid brand. Like I can recognize your thumbnails and stuff like that. But in the business world, maybe you got to consolidate a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you're working towards that. I've seen that, and I think like my constant nagging about it has like you're starting to like perk your ears up,
uh,
and I don't know.
well,
Go on.
yeah, no, Les, your constant nagging has always helped. I mean, Les, you've like looked at my websites and you're like, "Ooh, looks interesting," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, I got to fix it up." So then I look at your website and then copy something off of there, and slowly, I think I'm getting better just by hanging out with someone maybe a few levels higher than me, you obviously. So.
Yeah, by the gas heaters, Christian, do you mean do you like the patio heaters? What kind of gas ones? I mean, over time, you do want to improve. If everybody asks them, if you look silly, get the bigger ones. Maybe you can try to find them used. Look for auctions as well. Like out here right now, up in Canada, Western Canada, where we're at, there's a lot of auctions. People are selling things all the time. So this is a good time to buy. And if you're looking for something to upgrade from like a smaller dinky thing to like a real thing, it's not a bad idea. You always want to kind of be improving and upgrading, which kind of ties in with the branding we're talking about. Speaking of branding, you guys should check out a channel called Asheville. Okay, it's this guy in the UK, and he has awesome branding. Like everything is black and then gold or white letters, gold trim and white letters, and like he does this to everything he owns. He has like an aggregate company. He's much bigger. I think he has like 50 employees or so. So he's much bigger than us. But if you want to get like kind of inspired in terms of branding, check out his channel. Again, it's called Asheville. Actually, he kind of reminds me of another company called Rocket Lab, which is out in New Zealand, and they're kind of like the mini SpaceX. and all their rockets, all their like gear, all their shipping containers are black. So it looks really, really slick and cool. You know what I mean? Like everything is black.
Well, and you brand every single one of your tents. Like I've seen your tents in the pictures. Like just right in the corner where probably the brand name of wherever you bought the tent from. There's your company stickers on there.
Yeah, and like I want to do it more. Like even though I have stickers on the tents, and a key thing is I didn't want to. I've seen some companies which put their logo on the tent, but it's like the entire top of the tent is like their company.
Yeah.
It looks silly. You don't want that at someone's wedding. Like they don't want your name on this like the big thing. That's why my logos are always like a decent small square in the corner. That's not like in your face.
So in your last video, you were making that table cart, and you had the stencil there. Where'd you get your stencil done? Because you just spray painted your thing on there, and it looked great. And I was like, oh, I should get a stencil. And so where'd you get
a local printing company? I asked them for a stencil. I think it was like $40. I had it in 2 different sizes, and I forget, it was like 40. I think it's 40 per stencil. It was like slightly expensive. I was expecting it to be a little less, but I get it. Especially with my design, it's all like flowy. There's a lot of like cuts they have to make, and even though they have like this cutting machine, they did have to go in and like manually cut. And in fact, the only reason I know that is they were like, I came in to pick it up when they told me I should pick it up, and they were just finishing up, so I just hung out with them in the back room, and they were like cutting it out or whatever. But yeah, stencils are neat because you can kind of add those to like anything. We put them on our boxes, on our like tool bins, and it looks kind of like really, really solid. So I want to do that more. Like, but for me, I definitely like am freaking out about our branding color, which is black or like this dark gray and orange. Like for some reason, I feel like the orange is a little bit like, I see it like it's kind of overdone. Like I'm not a huge fan of the orange necessarily.
I was always wondering why you had the like little bit of orange. I mean, it makes it pop, right? So, and usually, there's always some secret reason with you. So, maybe you gained this knowledge from a rare book or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and okay, so they're talking about reviews. Guys, if you want reviews, the best way is to ask the happy clients for a review. Just be like, hey, do you want to put up a review? We'll give you 10% off on you got to give them something though in return. So we'll give you 10% off for your next rental. We'll give you a piece of chocolate. That's kind of silly, but
yeah, but when you're asking for the review, don't make it sound like a cookie cutter. So take your template. I've got a template, but then I add a bunch of dialogue in there. It's like that refers to the conversations that we had when I was delivering and setting up. It's like, oh, everything looked so good, and you comment on something that makes them feel warm inside, and then they feel warm inside, and then you follow it up with like, for me, it's like a desperate plea to help my small business grow. It's just my angle, right? But if you create that dialogue, it'll resonate with them a lot more, and they almost feel obligated to give you a review. You may feel dumb asking for it, but then once that review pops up there and it's just golden, you're like, yes, I got another one. So.
Yeah, and asking for a review, yeah, at the beginning is a little awkward, but then it gets like, then it's fine. Once you're past that awkwardness, it's like it's something you should do because and only ask the people that you know are happy with you. Otherwise, it's kind of don't ask people that are clearly not happy with your services. And you can't delete the reviews. I think someone said delete. Like, can we delete? You can't delete the reviews. I mean,
and you have to make sure that you let the client know when you're asking that it has to be a 5-star review, because some people they'll give you a review and they'll give you 4 out of 5 stars and they'll think that's they'll think that that's a good review, but like literally it's either 5 or nothing, or like a 4. It's like, why a 4? But some people, like, that's how their minds work, and you kind of have to make sure that they're not one of those people, right?
Yeah, I've had this like autistic guy. He was like so happy with my service, and then he gave me a 4 out of 5. I was like, "What are you giving me a 4 out of 5?" What is it?
Well, okay, and sorry that I'm interrupting here again, Les. I'm the interrupter, and you're the great listener. But if someone does give a 4 out of 5, you almost want to like jump on that review and just be like, hey, like, was there anything else that we could have done to bump it up to that 5 star? Like, people like to see that you're being that you're messaging back in these things, especially for a bad review, right? If you get a bad review and there's no reply, that just confirms that what the person is saying on the review is solid, and you do nothing about it. So do you agree there?
Oh yeah. And they go into like I think Christian's saying like in his latter comments there, it's like, what about bad reviews? Like I suppose you could contact them. If we're indeed a client of yours, you can always contact them and be like, is there anything you can do to remove that review? So reach out to them, see what you can do, offer them something, say sorry, and just work with them. So in terms of and Lee Wright has a question for you, Lee. How are your unattended pickups going? Like, is the service popular?
Well, it's the pretty much the only way I do it. So it's actually like an unattended, like a 24-hour drop off that I do. For my pickups, I've done a handful of times. I've actually had the customer come in and pick up, like come into the bay and pick up, because I like to see them face to face, and I like to take a snap of their ID and let them know, like, I've got you, like, return this stuff. If they were picking up, then there's no face-to-face interaction, and I'd be a little scared that they'd feel like they could take more advantage of me. So it's more so a drop off. When I'm busy with like deliveries and so forth, I have Chelsea and some of my other staff come in and just quickly do the customers. So it's a drop off, and it works wonderfully. I haven't had any problems. The only problem that I have had with it is everyone likes to try and come at the same time. So the bay, it fills up super quick. It's like a 7 by 16 foot, and it can fill up with 5 rentals really quick. So
Yeah, especially if they're coming right at the same time. They're just throwing them in. Like it gets really crowded, and like now is a good time to do time slots. People are like, oh yeah, because of COVID, time slots, like, it makes sense. But if you're actually doing them for your sake, which is like not having everybody come at the same time, and like unless you want that, like if technically you want that, but having little time slots is not a bad idea, especially now.
yeah, for pickups you're talking, right?
Yeah, for both if you want, but mostly for pickups, exactly.
Yeah, like I don't set any, like, it's convenience for drop offs. It's like, you better be on time for the pickup, and I like say that it's sharp time arrival, and I hammer that into them, and then drop off whenever you want. Just text upon arrival, and I'll send you the code for the bay, and you can get in there and drop off.
Right. And so yeah, the self-serve is primarily for the drop-off, which makes sense because you definitely, like you mentioned, you definitely want to see their like ID, get to know them, make sure they're not like, I don't know, a crackhead or something, and and because they have their stuff at the end of the day. Most people though, like most people seem to be reasonable and return. Even the flaky ones eventually return. They might be like a couple days late, but they are definitely returning. Christian keeps going on about these reviews, but I think he's done with it. He's happy. He says thank you. But again, guys, in terms of reviews, just ask. Just ask your clients. You can email them. You can. Some people I notice have it in their like the signature of their emails. Leave us a review and offer them something. Like, we'll give you 10% off. You get one free something or another. And people will, some people review. It's actually kind of like not everybody will review, but definitely some people review, especially if you have like strong offers, kind of in that regard. So yeah.
So I just bought a trailer,
Right.
and like a small little guy. What was it, like it's a 5 by 8 trailer, just a little enclosed one. It's because I was having trouble during the summer just getting reloading the trailer. So I was watching your video, and you had bought a 5 by 8 trailer as your first one too, hey? And do you still have that trailer, Les?
No, I sold that trailer, and like one important thing that I learned, the problem with that trailer was that uh the ceiling was too low. I think it was a 5 feet ceiling. I don't know if it was that one or the previous one that you're talking about, but the one with the 5 foot, yours is 6 feet, so you're safe. But the
6 foot ceiling, yeah.
definitely get a ceiling where you can fully stand up. I mean, technically, if you're taller than 6 feet, then you know, you want something taller, because it killed my back. Like I consider myself like indestructible. At least I have that mindset, even though that's definitely not the case. But like sometimes when I'm going at it, when I'm trying to reach a goal, I'm like, nothing will stop me. And that one summer with that 5 foot trailer, it just broke my back. You know, I was like hauling chairs in there, and like at the beginning, you're mostly hand bombing, right? So it just completely destroyed my back. So definitely a 6 foot trailer helps a lot.
Uh,
Yeah.
with your trailer right now, like you've got a ramp to go down, obviously, right? Like it's a ramp door.
Yeah, it's a ramp door, and I
Uh,
prefer that over the what is it called? Farm door. I forget what the other one's called, but a ramp door, I would say is definitely preferred if you can make that happen, because you know you can move carts and dollies up instead of kind of
the
lifting them magically into onto the trailer.
So do you often like have chairs on dollies and strap them in then all the
That's
time?
my main thing this winter, is to have absolutely everything on carts and wheels. Like I don't have everything on carts and wheels right now, and that needs to change. In fact, just today from Uline, I ordered five like really industrious carts, because before I was getting them from Princess Auto, and the casters are just too small, not heavy duty enough. So I got the real deal ones for $50 each, but like I'm gonna put pretty much everything on them, and start getting everything on carts, because that's really the way you want to move things in the industry. You don't want to like lift them up like an amateur.
Yeah, well, everything on in my warehouse is on carts except I don't have I have to take it off the cart to get it into my
Right,
transport vehicle. So it's
right. I mean, it still helps, but at the end of the day, you still have to sometimes get it off the transport vehicle, or put them back on the carts when you're picking up or taking down. So it's not the end of the world. So Christian has another question. I have a temporary one not proper done. I have one looking good into some. Should I ask approval to copy ideas from his contract? Um, I would just rephrase them in your own words. I don't know. Like, what do you think, Lee? Should he ask for approval? If he's gonna kind of like steal the guy's like contract information, steal, like, steal.
No, you know what? You had a video a few days ago, and I think you nailed it right on the head. Just look up like three of your competitors in your area and just mix them all together, because they can't they won't even tell it's their own, or if they can, it's just like you're not stealing it word for word. Mix it around, and then as the time goes on, you're gonna change everything. Like as these problems come up, you're gonna be like, oh, I need to add this in. You're gonna be like, that doesn't apply with my business, and it's just gonna completely change into your own custom one.
Right, right. Oh, but inflatable, don't you take deposits? Because with non-refundable deposits, we're just like, it's like a deposit thing, right? We're just like, listen, it's a deposit, it's not refundable. So if you find a cheaper price, too bad, or whatever the situation is. Like, pretty much like nothing. Like you get credit. Say if you have to reschedule because of rain or something, we'll give you credit as if we haven't put any work into it. But like we're pretty much secure with the deposit. Almost no one comes into through these doors unless they're like prepaid, which makes it really nice. Like there's no dicking around. So that's what I would suggest. Like push those deposits and be like, no, it's not refundable. Like otherwise, yeah, you're gonna get these like sketchy people going like, oh, I found one for $10 less. Like, oh.
It, yeah, you're gonna find yourself booking stuff out, and then it's not actually booked out. People they don't care. They don't have their money on the line. They're not even gonna remember that they booked something, because they're like, oh, I can book that. Like whatever.
Yeah, and never give in. I'm so glad you didn't give in, because as soon as you're give in, you devalue your company and what it stands for, and everything. Like, never give in. It's very easy at the beginning to like give in, or like if someone's asking for a big discount, it's really easy. Okay, okay, but then in the long run, that's just a loss for you. So yeah, it's very good. I'm really glad you didn't give in on that.
Lots of people with bouncers. I can't wait to get into bouncers.
It's crazy. All these children puking everywhere.
Yeah.
No, like insurance, massive insurance claims. kids puking everywhere in the rain. You're like cleaning it, and then you gotta like unfold it, roll it up. It's like super heavy.
Yeah, boy. I
No,
don't know why I said it like that, but whatever. I mean, I want the hard work. I want to grow. I want to try it. I need to. I have to. I have to. This is my mission. It's not my mission to be like a huge bounce company, but it's my mission to have bouncers.
right. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's good. And like, it's not bad to try everything, and like maybe like eventually in like 5 years you'll be like, okay, I love this, love this, love this. Hate bouncers. Okay, you were right. Bouncers suck.
I, I'm sure I will hate bouncers. I mean, there. It's just, um, I don't know. It just might be that my kids are in my ear too, right? So,
That'd be yeah. Maybe like if you get bouncers, your kids will literally have a party. They'll get bored of them though, party so much with the bouncers, right? Or make them clean them. You see what I'm saying? Like you can play, like they can play with it if they clean it after.
yes, yes, that's fantastic.
I feel bad for saying that because inflatable, like there's so many people that literally just do bouncers, or bouncers are their main thing. Like Tony, inflatable and jump. Here I am saying like no to bouncers, but
Well, Aliana does lots of bouncers too. Like that guy's pretty bouncer savvy.
I don't know, like even like I saw on like I seen a few channels that do bouncers, and like if we do 2 to 3 frame tents per weekend, I can't imagine making the same amount of money with bouncers. And then I feel like there's a lot of work just folding them, drying them, dealing with them, and like, and I was like, okay, so let's just do tents for now. Maybe later bouncers. If I got into bouncers, it'd be like a small line of bouncers.
You know what? You're absolutely right though, because you book the tent and then you get the tables and chairs and stuff with it, right? So when you book the bouncer, it's like, okay, well, maybe you'll get the cotton candy machine. Like, yes, it goes in that realm, but like tents is tents, tables, and chairs, and it doesn't matter what theme it is. It's just like the things that they need at the event.
Right, right, right. Okay, well, that's cool. Do you want to call it a wraps right about now? We had a good 46 minutes run here. We'll do it again next Wednesday. Big thank you to, okay, check out Tony's channel. He's in the comments. Check out Lee's channel. He's there.
So,
You're all subscribed to Lee anyway.
yeah, I'm the bartending, photo boothing, rental guy. You got to check out my channel. I try to make it pretty juicy. So
Yeah, who else is there? Party Rental Knowledge is in the comments. Check out his channel. Does anybody else, Lee, does anybody else have a YouTube channel there? Put it in the comments if you have a YouTube channel in the next 20 seconds and it'll pop in. But check out Party Knowledge, Tony's, Lee, Tent Guy. I don't think he's here, but check him out too. He's kind of part of the trio. Although we're Canadian, so we're closer because we're literally close to each other. While Tent Guy is a bit further away across the other side of the country. And Christian, just comment on one of the videos, and we'll send you. If you go to my channel in the descriptions, there's the email. So just gorithvaliant@gmail.com. So just send me an email, and I'll send you the contact or website or whatever, and we can go from there. So guys, take it easy. Thanks for joining us. Let's get some business done.
you stay classy. You stay classy. There we go.